Sometimes you just feel like some beef and broccoli, and in my situation today, I'm also adding some carrot and some celery. I have my beef sliced up, which I'm going to season real quick with some salt and pepper. I'm going to add a touch of garlic powder. I'm going to give that a quick mix and let this sit while we prepare our sauce. So in my container here, I have about a teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of brown sugar. I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of water. I'm going to give it a stir, break down the brown sugar. Okay, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon of cornstarch, which is going to be our thickening agent to give the sauce a nice shine, and it'll hold up with the vegetables and the meat. And then this is ready to go. So now we're just going to go to the stoves because everything's ready to go. Okay, my pan is hot. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vegetable oil and just swirl it on the bottom of the pan. And then I have my beef that's cut up nice and thin, as you can see. Okay, and this should not take too long to cook. We don't want to overcook the beef because then it'll have a tendency to get a little bit tough, depending on what kind of beef that you're using. If you don't like beef, you can simply switch it out for chicken, which works perfectly well. So my heat is on medium-high. I'm just flipping this around. If you want to switch to tongs, you can switch to tongs. Get a little bit of color on this meat. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in a container and hold it to the side while I prepare the vegetables. So this is going to need about a tablespoon of oil now, and I'm going to add my carrots and my celery and my broccoli. And then the one thing I want to add to this is probably about 3 tablespoons of water. Okay, the water is just going to help it to steam the vegetables as they're cooking. And also what I prepared earlier is I cooked my rice, so I'm just using regular white rice. I cooked it pasta style. So that means that you're cooking it with lots of water, and then I'm just keeping it warm off to the side of the stove. So this will cook. I'm going to add a little touch of salt, a little touch of pepper. Okay, again, vegetable-wise, if you want to throw onion in there, you can definitely put onion in here. Whatever you have in the fridge, peppers, snow peas, snap peas, green beans, whatever you like can go into your stir fry. And it should take probably about 5 minutes if you've cut the carrots thin enough for this to cook out. And most of us don't mind a little bit of crunch to our vegetables. Our sauce started to marry together. Okay, we're going to give it a stir and then stir it again before we add it into our stir fry. Okay, our vegetables are nice and tender. Don't burn your vegetables. Turn down the heat or add more water if they're not quite ready yet. Then I want to add my beef. And the last thing I'm going to add now is my sauce. And again, give it a stir because your brown sugar and your cornstarch is in the bottom. Okay, your pan's nice and hot. Pour it in. Give it a quick stir. You can see how it glazed up. If you need a touch more water, don't be afraid to add it in. You want to have a little bit of shine to this. You don't want it to be completely dry. Okay, so you can add probably about 3 or 4 more tablespoons of water. You should have it beside you so that you can thin this out. And then we need to just give this a quick taste. Perfect. Okay, if you wanted some heat, you can throw some chilies in there. If you want it saltier, add some soya. But this is the way I like it, and we're ready to plate. To plate our beef and broccoli, I like to start off with some white rice. I put it in the middle of the plate. I'm going to use it all. And then I grab some vegetables. Stick it on top. Scooping up some sauce that goes with it. We can add a little bit of extra sauce just by tilting the pan over. Pouring it on top. See, it almost looks like a jus that you would use on top of beef, which is fantastic. And that's it. Beef and broccoli, other vegetables you find in your fridge on top of a bed of white rice. I hope you enjoy it.